Hello and thanks again for joining me for another episode of The Planet Crafter. Today we are going butterfly hunting. So there are quite a few butterflies to collect in this game. And there's some that can only be found on the map. And then there are a bunch that can be crafted. And then there's one that we get from the trade rocket. So we're over at our factory, just for reference, and this would be the default start location. That little white speck over there is the lander pod for reference of the default start location. So we're going to head off to a place that has 4 of the findable butterflies, which is over here. If we head over to the iridium cave, and if you are up to insects, then you should have access to these areas, but obviously you will need to at least have trees for this, because you'll need this vine for access. So this is the iridium cave, and we're going to find four of the butterfly larvae up here. So we come up to this vine here, and we can click on it to climb, and that's going to bring us up into this area here where there's zeolite. There are a few chests, but we're going to go sort of to the kind of the eastern, southeastern sort of edge, and there'll be a little stairway up here and pop up. There's a few chests and stuff up in this area. There is more of that area to explore around there. You might find another chest or two and some other things, but we're coming up to this area here, which is commonly known as the balcony. So this is right over the iridium caves. Okay, there's our factory down there. Start location's up there. The big ship crashed up on the hill is up there. That's the labyrinth in there. The gate over there. So alrighty, if we have a look, here's a map for reference. We're pretty much right in here. That's us right there. So that's the iridium cave. That's the bit where it's all falling down. We've come up the vine, and we'll come through here. Okay, so that's the start location. Pretty straightforward, pretty basic. You won't be able to, that vine won't appear until you've got trees. So now we want to collect all of these larvas. There's commons, there's uncommons, and there's rare. We will need these to craft the craftable ones. And if you have your drones unlocked, you can set a container to supply. Now we can't, the common ones don't appear in here. They do become craftable at some point, so I'm wondering if maybe they will appear in there after they are craftable. But at this stage, I mean, we can put these in here, and we can have a container set up where we're going to be doing our incubating, and our drones will take them there. So, but I do have full containers, so I am just going to shred all these. But I do recommend that you get at least a full container worth, because we will be using those later on when we start doing the craftable ones. So the way these larvae work is, if you're just running through an area quickly, they're not going to show up. If you stop and hang around in an area, after a little while, they're going to start spawning. And only so many are going to spawn at once. So they could be these ones that we're picking up, commons, the uncommons. There's also the rares, or they could be the butterflies. And certain butterflies will only spawn in certain areas. So there's no butterflies that spawn down there. But here in this area, these 4 can spawn. But we need to keep picking up all the other larvae, because if we don't, then we get so many here that they just won't spawn anymore. There's the rare lava. So we'll need all of those. So basically, I mean, you can just sort of stand here and turn around like this and just wait for them to spawn. And they will eventually spawn. So in this area, there's Fiorente, Alban, Nere, and Lorpen. Now, if you do get to a point where there are none spawning, like this, then I usually find if I leave the area and I come back again. So in this case, I'm just going to use the teleporter, and let's just go back to our office. Okay, away from the area for a few minutes, and well, not a few minutes, just for a moment or two, and then we'll head back. And you don't have to teleport, you can do it on foot, that's fine. Because when you leave the area, they will despawn. And I'm just going to wait until this storm clears. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, storm's cleared. So when you leave an area, they will despawn, which will then allow them to start respawning again. And sometimes they might spawn in places where you can't see them, and therefore they'll stop spawning. So leaving the area kind of like resets it. So I'm going to hunt around here until I find something interesting. Butterfly hunting does take some patience. It does take some time. I could be hunting here for a long time, and it really depends on your luck. But I'll be back in a moment when I find something of interest. Okay, so here's our first one. It's an Alban. Can be tricky to see this one because it kind of blends in, but that is this black one here. So that is the Alban. So we can still find the Fiorente, the Nere, and Lorpen. We can find these in other areas, but this is an area where we can find all four. So I will keep searching around, and I'll be back to you when I find something else. So see you in a moment. Okay, so here is our second one. Oh, and another one just spawned in. So there is the Fiorente, and there is the Nere. Okay, so it just takes some patience. I have been here a while. I've been back to pick up some food and water, and I have shoved a whole ton of lava in the shredder, and we still have one more that can be found in this area, but I'm going to move on because we can find it in other areas too. So those are the four that we can find in this area, and we've found those three. So moving on, now if we go back here, head on back down the vine. So as I mentioned, you can find the Alban. That's this one here. You can find them in this area as well if you're having trouble finding those. We are going to keep heading up here and up to the sulfur fields. So if you've gotten this far in the game, you should know where the sulfur fields are. So got my heaters set up here. Still haven't gotten around to putting up the T5 heaters yet. But okay, for reference, this is where we are in here. Okay, so straight through the iridium field. So if you're having trouble finding Nere, you can apparently find it in here. And also if you were to continue on through to the sandfalls through there, you should also be able to find them there. but I've never really found any in this area myself. But from here, we are now going to go over this direction. So we came in through the iridium cave over there. We're going to come in here, which brings us into the osmium cave. And there is another entrance. If you come from up in that direction, will be the top of the hill near the wreck in front of your starting location. So we're going to keep going through here, sort of sticking to the left hand side of the wall, and through here into the zeolite cave. Now this has been the easiest place that I've found to find the lorpin. Yeah, there are some froggies here, we'll get to those later. So once again, same sort of thing. Maybe put flashlight on, it's a bit dark down here, but just hang around in the area till the lava starts spawning. Keep picking them up. And I have found quite a few lorpin down here pretty easy. Up on the balcony, I have found them up on the balcony, but they seem to be pretty elusive. And the lorpin is the only one that you're going to find in here. I mean, you'll find your commons, your uncommons, and your rare lava. But out of the butterflies, the lorpin's the only one that's really going to show up in here. So, just quickly for reference on the map. So we are down here. So in the zeolite cave here. So we came from over here, we went up through the iridium, down through the sulfur fields, in through the osmium cave and down through here. So I'm going to run around here, and when I see something interesting, I will come back to you. Okay, so took a while, but there is a lorpin. So we'll grab that guy. So that's what that one looks like. Now, this did take quite a while for him to show up, and I've filled up the shredder about 4 or 5 times before he showed up. So it does take a bit of patience, but now we'll cruise on to the next location. So if we came in through that way, right, the osmium cave is down in that direction. We came up through this way. We're going to keep going west and sort of going to hug this wall here, and we're going to chuck a sharp left right here, and there's an opening up here. So now we're going to cruise up the hill here and all the way up until we come out. And this brings us to the crater, and where we had a pulsar quartz storm outside. I don't need that, I've got plenty of pulsar quartz. So this is our command center. You can also find Nere around this area. I think it's just Nere. Just a moment. Yeah, so you should be able to find Nere and Fiorente around this area, if you're still having trouble finding those. But, you can find those in quite a few places, so we're not going to stick around here and look for those. Although, yeah, we got the Fiorente. Okay, and we got the Nere. But if you are still having trouble finding both or either of the Fiere or the Nere, then have a look around this area, maybe down on the island. But we're going to head up over the eastern ridge here. This brings us out into the waterfall area, I believe you can also find the Ferrante and the Nero over near the waterfall as well. But we are going to come down here. So, see the waterfall there, and you head from the waterfall to this big archway, or this big sort of tabletop thing that sticks out. You turn around here so you're facing the waterfall. There's a cave entrance in here. Yeah, this is 2 entrances of 1 for the cave. Just for reference, and just let me turn my flashlight off. Okay, so we are here. That's where we are right here. Whoops. And if we zoom out, so this is the waterfall, that's the crater, that's the zeolite cave, that's the starting location. So we came up through here, or up through here rather, through here, and now through this way. So this is one entrance into the mushroom cave, and this is another entrance into the mushroom cave. So for this one, this is the only place that we can find this one. It is the Futura, and we are going to head straight down into the cave. We've been in here before in a couple of previous episodes. You don't need to go very far. We'll start getting the lava show up. So I'm going to go down and just grab a drink of water. Now, these are probably the easiest butterfly to find, because when one shows up, they're really bright. They have a pink glow around them. So we're just going to hang around, pick up any of the these commons and whatever. And we'll look around. Alright, so I'll continue looking around till I find one. So this is the only place to find the Futura, at least that I'm aware of. And I'll be back to you in a moment when I spot one. Okay, so see there's a little glow right there where my crosshair is. That would be a Futura. There it is. So they stick out, they stand out a fair bit. So they're pretty easy to spot when they do spawn. Have a quick look and see if there was any more quickly. You can see them from quite a distance. But, well, we've got that one, so don't know why I'm picking up the junk ones, but anyway. So now I'm going to head over the other side to the other entrance. So there's an entrance on each side, and it is easy to get turned around and lost in here. So it's a good idea to put a beacon up at either entrance. I have one up at both entrances. And we'll just keep an eye out for the pink glows, but we're moving pretty quick, so I doubt that any are going to spawn unless we actually stop for a minute. But we'll head up to the other entrance, which is east. And this will bring us out here into the meteor field. And for reference here, so we are now here. Okay. And now we're going to head into this area. Or rather, sorry, we're in this area. We're going to head into this area. Head down there because I've got another teleporter there. So we're going to head out this way. Well, actually, this was the spot that we teleported to before. So if you were still trying to find the Alban, You can find it anywhere in this area. I'm just going to keep going south for a bit. Over here. So I featured this area in my bunkers episode. But if we just hang around this area, the Albin is the only one that will spawn in this area. Aside from all the common stuff, which you pick all them up and either distribute them or shred them. And eventually you will find these Albin. So we're not going to stick around here. From here, we are now going to go back to the factory as a reference point. And not that hungry, but I'll have something to eat. Alright, so we'll pop down here. Okay, so now from here, we're going to continue up straight past the iridium caves, and see there's our little platform where we were up there. So we're going to cruise past here and up past the super alloy field. So once again, I do have teleporters up there, but just for reference, so you know how to get there, we are just going to go straight up here. And yours might not look like this because I've got a bunch of tree spreaders over there. But we're going to go straight up here. This is the super alloy cave. And we're going to keep heading west past the satellite. And for reference, this is where we are. Okay. That's the iridium caves. That's the big battle cruiser in the desert, the super alloy field. Okay. So, just still had a map screen here, so I figured I'd show that. So we're going to continue up into this area where we came here before. Up here was up there we're going to go. Now this is another spot where you can find the Nere and the Fiorente. I'm pretty sure you can find the Fiorente. Now I'm not sure if I haven't found any down here, but I have found them up there. So you may be able to find them down here. I haven't really spent a lot of time looking for them down there, but I do definitely know that you can find those up here if you still haven't found them already. So up anywhere along here, but I've found some right around here, which is the Warden's Gate. So if you haven't done the Warden's altars and the keys, that gap won't be there. Yeah, so we can find the Nere and the Fiorente around here. Once again, you have to do the same thing, right? But we already have both of those guys, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. But if you're still looking for those two, and in fact there's a Nere there, right? So if you're still looking for those two, this is another spot where you can find them. So, do I not have a shredder? Yes, I do. Okay, let's just shred those. Okay, and just for reference, we are in here. I think we're in here behind this pillar here. Okay, zoom out. That's the super alloy cave. That's a big battle cruiser. This is the start location, so it's a straight line all the way up the hill. Now, for this next bit, you are going to need to do the Warden's keys, and I have done a video previous in this series that shows you step by step each one that'll get you to this point. And we'll come through here. And when we get a certain way down here, we're going to lose the ability to use our jetpack. And that's about now. So we're on foot from here. I'm going to run through here. This will bring us into the ancient paradise or the lost city. And we're just going to follow the river around. And if you haven't been here before, then you'll get the achievement for the ancient paradise right around when you come up this river. But we're going to come straight up here. And I mean, technically any of this area is fine. I've even found them up on the bridges and stuff. But I just run around this area here. And in this area, we can also find the Ferente, the Lorpen, the Alban, the Serena, and the Golden. And I've found all of those. Now, the Serena and the Golden, they can be crafted as well as found. But you can find all of them here. And these, there's a Serena. The Serenas can be crafted, and I find a lot of them. There's a golden one right there. Look at that. Straight away. Not always that lucky. Sometimes you do need to spend some time. But I find tons of these. So what I do is when I find one of those, I pop it in the recycler because I've got stacks of them. And I recycle it. There's T2 mutagen, a rare lava, which I'm not fussed about, and a fertilizer, and they will come in handy. Pop them in there. They will come in handy when we start doing our incubating, and you can see I've got a bunch of them in here. So anyway, we will continue picking these up. Well, actually, what have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have found all of the 6 findable butterflies. There is another Serena. See, I find stacks of those. They're not bad. They're like 1200%. You know, the gold is 15. So, all right. So I'm not going to spend too much time here because we have found everything. So between here and the balcony, there's a Lorpen. So between here and the balcony, there's another Serena. You can find all of them except for the Futura, which can only be found in the Mushroom Cave. All the rest of them you should be able to find between here and the balcony. But if you are having trouble, you can try those few other places. There are a couple other places that you can find the Nere and the Fiorente. But that is all of the findable butterflies. So in the next episode, and there, I thought that was another golden one, it was just the grass. So in the next episode, we will look at doing all the craftable ones, and then we'll get the final one from the trade ship. But that's going to do it for this episode. If you did enjoy this episode, please leave me a like or a comment down below. If you'd like to see more, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.